We are recording? Yes,
Yes.
now it has started. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to day two, session two, on education for technology, literacy, and inclusion. And as we discussed in the initial first session of today's class, so we discussed about the commonalities between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science, and how these are used in different ways. So I discussed a lot about using data for different purposes, but now I would like to also show how we can find these data sets, that in case if you want to do research on any particular area, but where to get the data from if you don't have the time to get the data sets. So I will be sharing my screen and showing you some of the websites and links that are being used to get the data sets. So yes, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes. So there is a website called Kaggle. So Kaggle is basically a community of machine learning and data science enthusiasts and data scientists. And over here, so you can sign up with your Gmail account. And what you can do, so once the website, I hope if we are going simultaneously, if people are also participants are also opening it on their own PCs, it will help them to do it right now while I am going through it. So in case you have doubts, you can directly ask me as well. So once the website is open, I'll share the link of the website in the chat as well. Yes, I've shared the link. So once the website is open, there is an option on the top called as data sets. Once we click on this option, it will show us data sets of different fields. For example, there's one data set on car listing, horror movies, motorbikes, football stadiums, Spotify, like which are the songs which are most streamed on Spotify, um, sleepy driver, brainwave data. And like I was talking, yeah, this is about growth of population. So this is something which I think can be important for people from the field of planning, that how population of our cities are increasing and how what should be the size of cities when planning is done. So if I go in the search option, I can directly in the search option. So I was discussing about faces. I will first maybe show that. So this is so this is giving me a data set of animal faces, and there's a data set of human faces. So it has, as you can see, it has roughly 7,200 files. The animal folder that has 16,000 files of. So this is the data that I was referring to, which is important for us to train our machines. As you can also see on the right, there's a reference to standard of the data. For example, this is referred as gold data, which is also shown by the number of people who have downloaded it, the rating that they've given it. So as you can see, rating for this is 8.8, 8.1. YouTube faces with facial key points, etc. This is for a data set for object detection. So as you can see, just faces can have so many different kinds of categories when we are searching for the data sets. So now, if I do a search on cities, so now it's giving me a data set of world cities, Brazilian cities, um, top 500 Indian cities, Titanic. Let me do cities in Europe. So it's giving me a data set of Airbnb prices in European cities. So these data sets can be used for different. So there's another data set on Madrid real estate market. So I'm not sure, like people, if you are aware that these data sets are available on such public platforms, but you can download them and easily use any of these data sets. So let me open the train stations in Europe data set. So yes, so this data set tells me the names of the train stations, the coordinates of it, and properties of the European railway stations. So once I go down, so it will have basic details of the data set. So So ID, which is the unique ID of that particular station, the name of the station, normalized version of, so basically the data set is normalized in such a way that sorry, any doubt? Okay, I'll continue. Longitude and latitude of the particular data set. And it is also mentioning that about 5% of the all the stations are that are data set that is available, they don't have any longitude. So that is also told in the data set. There's country wise data set as well, like information on the country. So there are many inferences that we can draw out of it. One inference that comes to my mind directly after it is reading this is that we can see which countries in Europe have maximum number of railway stations. Like as we can see, it also tells us the country, and at the same time, it can also tell us if there is a difference of latitude longitude. So this will be able to help us understand which are the countries where more number of people travel. Not it will not tell us if the people travel in train or not, but at least we can draw an inference that if there is infrastructure of a train in a particular city, so if there is infrastructure of the train, it is based on an assumption that people may travel. But again, I cannot assume that people would be traveling in trains or not, because this is just a data set on it, but there are various ways in which we can analyze this. um, Moving on, so this is a data set on temperature. This is a data set on French cities. Let me type, or anybody can suggest if you have any suggestion. What should I type here? So this can give me anything. I was not aware that I'll get such diverse data set, but this is how these data sets can be used and used for analysis. Meanwhile, I'll type Spain. Let's see what comes. So a data set on hourly energy demand and generation and weather. So how weather impacts the energy. For example, if the temperature is high, if the temperature is more than 30, 35, there's a higher chance that people might use air conditioners or more fans, more electricity might get consumed. So again, something that can be used to draw different inferences out of it. Similarly, this data set on COVID-19, crime rate, um, rent prices in Spain, and nominal GDP. So all of this data set can help us work on it and analyze and try to come up to a particular inference out of the data set that we are viewing. Similarly, anything that I type, it can give me a result on it. So this is an Amazon Spain product listing. I mean, please feel free to share your thoughts if you want to share something when you look at these. So
Yeah, and Bakshish, how reliable are these data? Who feeds those softwares?
So basically, the data that is being shared here is by different people. In some cases, this is a data that is being shared by a particular organization. In some cases, it is data by particular individuals. And the source of this data, so like in this context, you can see this data set was created by a in-house web scraping and data mining team at a company called Prompt Cloud and data stock. These are the two companies which created this data set, and after that, that is being shared here for people
And
who
this
are,
is disclosed, no? Everybody knows who has
yes,
written that page.
this
Okay.
is, yes, everybody knows. And these data sets are anonymized in such a way that, for example, if there is a data set on real estate property, so names of the people, generally these are the principles in data science that are being followed, that if there is a rental property data set, it will not tell me who owns that property or the personal details of the individual who is using that. It will just tell me the uh, very basic metadata, and that metadata is also many a times enough to calculate what inferences that I want to draw, because there are uh, regulations on data uses as well, such as the GDPR as well. So yeah, these data sets are basically made for students and working professionals and professors to use for learning, because it's a platform to learn. Like for example, the train data set that we saw, or this is a car emission data set. So again, these are data sets for data scientists to practice on and learn on. Generally these data sets, they don't have any personal information of people, because that is to ensure that everybody's privacy and concerns are being taken care of. So yes, so these are like this is also another general data set, prisons of Spain, um, and many other. I can type anything else as well if anybody in the among the participants, they want me to search on a particular item. I can search it and it can help me get the data set, and or otherwise we can move on to the next
I
part.
don't know, cultural tourism in Portugal, for example. Thank you.
Yeah, this has given me a data set on the World Factbook. Let me type Portugal and see what data sets. So I think it would be, so basically this search is a keyword search.
Ronaldo,
If
claro.
Yeah.
yeah, one, so we would need to dig out a little. So by Portugal we got Cristiano Ronaldo all club
Of
goals.
course.
Yeah, yeah. We got forest fires data set, that which are the areas which are catching forest fires, wine data, and then respiratory sound database. So as you
What
can see,
about
this is,
tourism? Do you have figures for that? You
yeah,
should
I'll
have.
check.
Thank you.
Yes, so international tourism, it has on India, and there's Iraq. Uh, Let me try tourism and Portugal.
Yeah.
Mm, it's not showing on this website, but I'm sure if I do tourism and Europe, it should show me something. See, this has, so at least it has given me tourism data on Europe. Now, once I download this data, I can classify, I can filter out the data for Portugal out of that data that I get. And so this is again, this is sports participation data by culture and tourism. Again, this is something which might be relevant. Then Europe hotel satisfaction scores, or if people are satisfied with the hotels that they are visiting. European Union trips by year and duration. What is the duration of the trips that people have made, etc. So these are some data sets that can be used, and there are other platforms as well. Kaggle is one of the platforms which has multiple data sets, and there are other platforms as well. I will share it after this session so that you can have a look at these. For the
And
time
when we
being,
choose one of
yes.
that, what do we see? Yeah, thank you. That was the idea.
Yes. So once I open it, so
Yeah.
this is compiled from European data from tourism trips in Europe, and this trip basically it has main values. This is the source of the data, source of metadata.
Eurostat. This is the European Union.
Yes, Eurostat. It's the European Union. I'll share this website as well. Um, yeah. So this will, if I want, I can download this dataset. This is the option where I can download it, and it will ask me to log in. So once you create an account on this platform, you can download this dataset. Do you want me to download it, or shall we move forward? Meanwhile, I'll show this tab. So this is one of the metadata of it, Eurostat data that we got on Kaggle. So this sort of tells us the classifications, why, how it is done, and the entire rules and regulations of it. The national metadata I was mentioning about that. So this has basically access to the metadata of the countries that we want. So do you want me to check for any country? So if I go to
We know
Portugal,
Eurostat is quite well known
okay,
information source for us,
okay,
if I may.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So yeah, so this
Excuse me
is
for this. Yeah. Maybe we can move on because
sure.
Your contribution to the seminar is very important.
Yes, I was just trying to show some data sets in the initial part.
Yeah.
Now I'll start sharing my screen for the points that, so yes. So yesterday we discussed some of these concepts, Python as a programming language, just as a revision, how algorithms are used for different ways to sort of identify the patterns. Algorithms helps to identify the patterns. The low level language, middle level language, high level language that we discussed yesterday. And yes, and yeah, so yesterday when we were working on Python, there are certain keywords that are used in Python. For example, one keyword that I used was print, which is often used, which is an execution command that is given in Python to ensure that we're able to execute what we are asking Python to do. And in that, there is a term called identifier in Python. So identifier is basically it's something which is defined by the user, and it's a name that is given to a variable, function, or a class, and it can be a combination of character digits and an underscore. And like I was using the term num yesterday, so it's important that we know that these are all case sensitives. So like yesterday I was trying print with the p capital, and Python was giving me an error because Python does not know, it does not have the understanding of capital P print. It knows small p print. It is designed in such a way. So it's important that these things are also taken care. Moving on, so like I was discussing yesterday, that every language, it has a Python, just like Python, every other language has its syntax. And hash symbol that as I was using is used to give a comment, and print symbol is used for a specified message that we want to be visible on the screen. For example, as I was discussing yesterday, and I was showing print in brackets inverted commas hello, and I had shown welcome to E4 ETLI. And similarly, if I define, if I can even ask Python to take the reference from a particular definition. For example, as you can see in the slide, if I define x as x is equal to apple and tell Python to print x, it will automatically print apple. Why? Because I have defined x is equal to apple in my command. And this needs to be done in a particular syntax that I referred to. Print in brackets. If I don't mention inverted commas, it will not print. It will leave it just like the way. So these are small things that are important to be taken care while working on Python. Moving on, so these are some of the operators. I hope it's visible. So as you can see, there are basic operators such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and the modulo operator that I was referring to yesterday. So modulo operator is basically used to get the remainder in the in the integer when we are dividing. So it's mainly used for dividing. While if we use asterisk twice, it acts as an exponent. So that exponent can be used to calculate results. So for example, it is in simple terms, exponent is raised to the power. So 5 raised to the power 2, which means 5 multiplied by 5. As you can see here, the result comes to be 25. If I put this in my code on Python, it will show me the same, and the result will tell me how, if I want to do a calculation, what the result of that calculation should be. Moving on to comparison operators. So as yesterday also, I was using the term is equal to, as you can see. So the start with, we start with the less than, greater than, and if we want to say less than or equal to, then it needs to be with the sign of less than with an equal to sign attached to it. While if we want to do it greater than, it's just similarly we apply the operator code that I have shown in the slides. While if we want to say not equal to, it comes with an exclamation. So these are some of the operators that are being used in Python. Moving on. So, so these are some logical operators. Logical operators in the sense that the Python will only be able to understand it if we are clubbing it with multiple operators, no multiple examples. So, for example, you can see that if we say to Python that 5 is less than 2 and 5 is more than 3, Python will give a result that this is something which is not possible because these two things are not possible. While if we give Python a command of not a AND command, but an OR command or an OR operator, it will be able to understand that because it's either or. That's how, just like a human being, Python needs to be trained to understand this, and then only Python can run a command on something like this. Similarly, there are different ways. I mean, this is a little more mathematical. This is the assignment operators. So, in case we are doing complex assignments on Python and want Python to give us results, these are some of the operators. I don't want to get into the detail of it. If anybody has questions, feel free to stop me, and I can tell about that. But these are operators that are used for mathematically in case there are people, participants who are interested to work on that. Moving on, so moving on to identity operators, which are basically used to check if the values which are located in the Python code are same as part of its memory. So as part of its memory basically means when we are working coding Python, we define certain things. Like for example, yesterday we defined that anybody below the age of 18 is a minor and anybody more than the age of 18 but less than 65 is an adult. So Python keeps that as the memory in it, and it identifies these two terms, is and is not, as part of its understanding. um, Moving on to, so these are some examples to understand how basically Python can also, we can also equate terms. For example, if I tell Python that a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20 and c is equal to a, and if I say that print is an execution command, a is not b and a also, then if I say print a c, then because if we have equated it, Python will understand. If I change the numbers, Python would not understand if I change the number to 30, 40 or any particular number. It will take it at the face value. So for example, yesterday I did not tell Python that in terms of the senior citizen, I did not address it. So just it took it, Python as a language, it took it at its face value. So it's important that when we are working on these programs, we define it and we work towards it with the definition of it. In a few minutes, we'll move to the Google Colab as well so that we can exercise some of these. Um, Moving on, there is another command used as a statement command used as else if, and if both ways it can be used depending on the statement that we are using. For example, if I say that number 1 is equal to 0 and then I use the command. So yesterday also I had used an if command. So if number 1 is more than 0 and then I give a command to Python to print a positive number, it will it would have to understand that through a detailed command which I give it afterwards, which is else if number 1 is equal to 0 and then if I say print 0, again that is being defined as. So I think unless and until I make it do on the coding platform, then I think there'll be much more clarity on this. But just for the theoretical part, I think it's important to understand the commands and the operators that are used in Python. So when we are using Python, these are some data types that are used. So first being numeric data. So numeric data can be integers, it can be complex numbers, real numbers, or we can even complexify it more. But just as to begin with, integers is something we can begin with. And also the float class, basically it's the real number with the floating point representation. And basically it could be represented with decimals. and used in the way that we want to use for a particular data set. Like yesterday we were using, even if I put minus on my the senior set for the age classifier, the data that I had used, even if I put -4 or -5, Python was still giving me answer as senior citizen, because as part of the code, Python was told that anybody more than 0 and 18. So that's how the Python program was trained. Then moving on, we have sequence data, which is a data type which is in an ordered collection, which could be a string, list, or a tuple. And just a second. Yes. So basically, a string, how string is a sequence of characters, and Python primarily supports Unicode characters, and Unicode characters are basically used for to simplify the code, because if I use multiple codes, if I use polycode characters, that is something which gets very complex. To begin with, Unicodes is something which can be uh, used to build your understanding, and after that we can move to complex things such as list. So list, as you can see, as I was showing yesterday as well, so we can define a list in Python. For example, as you can see here in this box, so a, I am defining Python. What is a is equal to foo bar baz quicks, and b as baz quicks bar foo. So if you notice, all of them have the same terms, but basically they are put in a different order. Foo comes last in B, but it comes first in A. Baz comes third in A, but first in B. So the order is changed, and I tell Python that A is equal to B, but Python is saying that it is false because, okay, slides just moved. Yeah, so the Python, because Python understands it in that particular order. If I change the order of the list, it would not understand it. Similarly, you can see that when I am having a list of 1, 2, 3, 4 is equal to 4, 1, and 1, 3, 2, because there is a particular order which is being changed now. So Python is telling me as a response that it is false, even though both the data sets are same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 3, 2. The order is changed, but for Python it would not understand it because it is something which is different in the order. And it can even be arbitrary objects that we can put in the code. So these are again some of the order of the elements. If there any confusion here, please feel free to ask as well. Mm, we'll just in another 2 minutes we'll move to. I just want to give a basic intro to Google Colab, so that even if people are not able to install the Anaconda and Jupyter Notebook, you can do it on that. So I'll share the slides so you can also have a look at that. But I think since we are running out of time, I would like to focus on installing, or basically not even installing, just opening Google Colab, because we don't have to install anything. Is my Google screen visible? Hello?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yes. So just try to open another tab in your laptop and follow the steps as I perform those steps, and you'll be able to at least reach the Google Colab screen and start your journey to coding from here. So when you are on Google, just type Google Colab. So after typing that, it gives me on the top two links. First is the Google Collaboratory. This you can check later on after to check it, to read about how Google has designed it. But the second link, which is google.collab, this is the link that you need to open. And I'll share this link again in the chat as well, so that people can directly open this link. I have shared it in the chat. Yes. So yeah, once you click on this link, it will show you this basic information about Google Collaboratory. So just to help you understand what Google Colab is and how Jupyter and Google Colab differs. So Jupyter primarily performs the analysis, or the conversion of the analysis is done within your own laptop. But in a Google Colab, we are basically using cloud services of Google to do perform the analysis. So once you are at this screen, go to the top right corner. There is an option to open Colab and new notebook. I would suggest that you go to the option of new notebook. So once you go to the option of new notebook, Google will automatically open a similar screen as we saw yesterday, which we used. So it would look something like this. Is everyone with me? Have you reached this stage?
Yes, I have.
I've been in Google Colab, and then it says the welcome, and I'm trying to go to where you are.
So I'll share my screen once again. So I am at this point. Yes, you are
Yeah.
at this screen.
I have probably I opened the wrong one. Let me see again.
So I have shared. Yes.
You have I'm in there in that place, yeah.
Yes. So on the top right corner, there is this option of new notebook. Can you see top
A
right
new
corner?
notebook.
Yes.
Okay, I open Collab. Okay. Okay. I opened the new notebook, yeah.
Yeah. So once that is open, you should be able to reach a screen which looks like this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. So now let's just begin with the most basic function that is there in Python. So now if you okay, one more thing that you would need to do once you reach at this stage. So because right now we are using the cloud services of Google, so basically the GPU of Google is used here. So on the top right screen, there's an option called connect to a new runtime. Can you see it on my screen?
Yeah.
Yes. So click on that.
Here is sequence. Yes.
Yes.
Let me see.
So once you click on that, it will take some time. And yes, so now it has connected in my. So as you can see, so now it shows me connected to Python 3 Google Compute Engine backend and RAM X amount of GB and like that. So now I am connected to a computer engine of Google. And with this, now you don't have to, if you're, even if you don't have installed Anaconda or Jupyter Notebook, you can still use this, and it is connected on a cloud server, so you don't have to uh, do any installation of Anaconda with this. So to begin with, just try to follow me. I'll do a very basic, like yesterday, very basic function. Print, and after print, open bracket, and add inverted commas. In inverted commas, I would say let's type welcome to E4 Li. Yes. So once you have written this, now the next step. So there are two ways to do it. Have you reached this stage? Has everybody reached this stage?
I'm writing.
Yes.
Print. Okay, should I enter now?
So no, don't. If you'll enter, it will. So this part where we are, this is called cell, and
Okay.
after a cell, in a cell there are multiple lines. If you enter, you will enter multiple lines. So if you see the screen, once
Okay.
I'm entering different lines. You don't
Okay.
need to press enter. Now you
Okay.
press hold shift and then press enter.
Where do you have all shift? Where did you go there?
Shift button, the button shift on your keyboard.
Oh, shift. Okay. Yeah,
Did it
what's happening here?
did it
Shift
print?
together with another.
So
Shift together.
hold shift and enter. If you are not able, you can, what you can also do, you can press this
Okay.
sign with
Okay.
this button. You can, if you press this, it will take 2 seconds to process, and it will show you that this is the code that you have run.
Okay. It's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Is it showing welcome to, or anything that you write, it will show?
Yes, it's like you have it on the screen, and then
Great.
but I don't have that part of the brackets. Yes, I have that. What do you have? I'm in that
Okay.
stage now.
Okay.
And after
Great.
this,
I would
what?
Yes, so this is the basic code. So this is how you, so I would like to congratulate you for executing a command in Python. This is how, like, I also began when I started first. It looks very uh, rudimentary, but it's something which is, that's how we all begin. So just a small congratulations from my side on that.
Thank you.
So you've executed one command. This is how commands are executed. So yesterday also, when we were executing, this was the command that we had used to execute anything. So moving forward, I had thought of using, so I can, we can go ahead and discuss, or I can execute some of the complex commands, but again, that I had given a loop or a conditional statement. If you remember yesterday, I had in my mind, I wanted to show a part where how sometimes Python fails in understanding something which ideally, as part of the work, I mean, the code, it is expected. But so I will be running a command which is, as I was showing, an if and else if in Python, and I'll show you how we can fool Python, and Python would not be able to understand what we are doing, because as humans we have designed it, so we, the language of it, we explain it on Python, but it is something which has been designed. So there are ways that there are some loopholes in it as well. So I will just show you one more loophole that was there. So because we are running out of time, I'll just quickly type the code, and after that I'll explain it. So yes, so this is the code that I'm using here, and this is a small program on how I'm telling to Python that how a palindrome is. So I'm writing def.palindrome, defining palindrome as a word, and in that word I am by typing it as word lower, which is just as a return command, which is followed by that it should be returned as a word should be returned as the same word. So just to explain what palindrome is a word which sounds same as the way it is reversed. I'll give an example. For example, the word Bob. I'll just type it out as well. So, for example, the word Bob. So, if I reverse the order of the word Bob, it will still remain the word Bob. But if I write the word apple, so apple is not apple when we reverse it. It is ELEPPA. That is how when we reverse it. But Bob remains the same. So that is how I'm telling Python that if input in that, once I will run this code, it will show me enter a word or phrase, and I'm telling Python a if function. If palindrome is a word, then after that we give the input command. So this is what I want the output to tell. It is if it's a palindrome. if I'm using the command else, if it's not a palindrome, it will show me that it's not. And the main command of this code is this one. So this command in Python is used in a way that to show that the word that we are giving to Python, it is equal to when it is reversed. That is what we are telling Python through this command. And I will just run the code to show you how it is. So yes, now Python is asking me to enter a word. So let me enter the word yes. Python is showing me it's not a palindrome. Okay. And just so that everybody can also practice it on their own PC, I'm sharing the code in the chat. So I request participants to copy it from here and paste it um, in their file while they're working on it. Are you able to see the code? Yes. Yes. So if I run it again, and now if I tell Python that I want to use the word, so
So I copy what you put in the message. What
yes.
do I need to do after?
So
Which
you put it on
it's again
the
shift
code.
and enter. It's again shift and enter.
Yeah, you can press shift and enter.
Okay.
What is it showing?
Yeah. It says invalid syntax.
No. No, wait. Did you enter a new line of code? You need to, before you enter it, you need to enter a new line of code. How you can do that is once you are at the file, there is an option on the top left corner, say new code. Can you see? I have shared it on my screen, this part, this line.
Let me see. You see, can you put again the, where did you, because I was trying to
This,
do in my, I was
this,
not
this,
seeing you.
this line, new code, plus code on the top left corner, top left.
Top left.
Code, plus code would be there.
Can you indicate with your cursor?
Yeah, I'm
please?
indicating with my cursor. This one. Can you see it?
Okay, the code, plus code. Okay, sorry.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And what you want me to do next? I have a new line.
Yeah, you have a new line. Now I want you to copy the code that I have sent in the chat window.
So again, and then shift and enter, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, but it says again invalid syntax.
Okay, so it's showing that the
This is what
syntax.
I did before. There should be something on the text. Yeah.
So what I will do now, I will maybe let's try. We'll type this code together. Okay.
Okay.
So type DEF.
BEF.
Yes. IS underscore
IS underscore
IS Just
So I have BEFIS. Is that so?
DEF. Yeah, DEF space IS.
DEF. DE. DEF. IS. Okay.
Underscore
And
palindrome in bracket word.
okay. Palindrome.
Brackets open.
Yeah.
Word. Bracket close.
You want me to write the word, isn't it? Inside
Yes, word.
brackets.
Yeah, inside bracket word.
And then double point.
Yes, then double colon. Yes. So in the next sentence, after you press enter, don't press shift enter, press enter. I hope you're doing it in a new code file. Like I'm simultaneously doing it with you so that you can look at it and try to
I'm
follow.
doing in a new one. Yes, I'm doing a new one. And then after the 2 points, I should press what? The shift again?
Enter. No, enter. Not shift enter, only enter.
Only enter. Okay.
Yes. So after you press enter, now
Yeah.
press tab. Press tab.
Yeah.
So now you should type just below is, like the way you can see. So just if you notice the screen, I have pressed enter, and now my text line is just below DEF. It should not be below DEF. Now press tab, and now you can type the word space is equal to
Okay.
word
Words.
yes is equal to
Word space equal
is it another space
another space word.
dot lower
Not
bracket.
lower.
Yeah, brackets open bracket close.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then I enter after the
Yes.
brackets.
Yes. Now enter after brackets.
Okay. Yeah. And then what should I do?
Now, now after you have done that, you need to yes. So yeah, once you have done that, now you need to
Okay.
press enter. Once you press enter, now type return. RETURN return space word.
Well, the brackets were separated. I'm sorry. So I have definitely is polydrome word double point, and then I did enter. It appears word equal to word dot lower, but then the brackets are separated in different lines. What should I have here?
So you need to open the bigger the big brackets that are there with a double colon and a -1 sign. So
But I have
this
here a problem. Let me see what happened here. No. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. Lower. Let me go again because I had somebody entering my office. Brackets. After the brackets. So I have def is polydrome word double point, and then I enter, put a word equal to word dot lower, open the brackets, and after opening the brackets, there appears the close brackets. How do I go to return word?
now enter, press enter after closing bracket.
Okay.
Yes. And now type return space word.
Equal.
Yes.
And
Is
double
equal to
equal. Double equal.
yes. Then you've pressed word.
Oh, the brackets. Where can I find those brackets here?
It's beside P, the letter P, just beside that, the bigger brackets are there.
No, in my computer I don't have that. I only have the round.
Okay.
Mm, in Word, I know where to find them in Word document, but here I don't have them.
So
Oh, I
there
have
is an
them.
option.
Yeah.
You
I
have it.
have.
Okay.
I have it in probably doing alt grant. I don't know. Let me see. No. No. How do I do this?
So now
Mm.
now press enter, and after you press enter, you need to type input underscore word.
I'm trying to see how do I go to brackets, because must be this has a command, but I don't remember which command is this one, because the brackets are under the 8 and 9. So I don't know. I know alt command is to go to the brackets which has upper the number 8 and 9, but lower the 8 and 9. I don't know which let me see if this one is. No, this is for 8 too.
Excuse me, Ernest. I think we can move on.
Yeah, I think so too. Sorry. I'll see what you're doing because I cannot go to this. Sorry for that.
Ines, maybe, I mean, there is, Palax told us that after copying the code, we had to go back and press Control V, and that way we could have the code properly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
but my
because that was what I couldn't do.
Did it
Okay.
work when you
Yeah, it
when you
worked.
pasted?
It
It worked
It
for
works. Yeah, it works
you.
perfectly well. Yeah.
Great, great. So what word did you enter when you did you enter words in that?
Yeah. Well, I put. I invented the name COOC, which is nothing, but
Yeah.
the program said it is a palindrome. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, great, great. So yeah,
Well,
you were
it
able
says it's
to
not a
code it.
palindrome. Yeah, when we do Control V, it says it's not a palindrome. Yeah,
Oh, great. So you're also able to execute the code. Great,
it's not logical what I did, but okay. Thank you
great. So
for your suggestion. Thank you.
yes, yes. So basically, what I was trying to explain here, I'll run the code here for. So I hope you can see my screen. So Python is asking me for a word. If I write, for example, COC, it will say that it's a palindrome. But now if I run this again, if I want to run it, I come here and I press shift plus enter. It will ask me for a word. If I write uh, hello, it will say that it's not a palindrome, because this command is basically, it's a very important command, because this command is saying tells Python that the word should come in a reverse order. This is what this commands mean, colon and -1 in brackets. So I am telling Python that the word should return as a return in the same word when I press. So when I run this, it should be, it should sound the same in the same when if I reverse it, for example, wow, WOOO, wow, it will say that it's a palindrome, because it's the same both sides. I have one interesting word before we end it, because I know I'm going over time. Let me use the word radar. Let's see what it tells. Radar is a common word that we use, and like it means the same on the opposite side as well. So it's again another common word, commonly used word, which is a palindrome. And I'm glad that some of the participants today were able to execute the code files. And so this is a very basic code that we tried. So similarly, if we teach Python, it will run it the way we want. One point where we can fool Python here is that we may, like, as one of the participants used the word COO. So COOC is not a word, but if we tell Python that it is a word, Python will believe it and it will say that it's a palindrome. So this is how machines function, and we can work around machines. And yes, I think we'll end the session 2 of day 2 here.
Excuse me, Bakshish,
Yes.
if I may, maybe it will be useful to give a clue of why Python is so important, because we have libraries, if I'm not wrong, libraries that are very useful for data science.
Yes, yes.
Is it right? Is it right?
So there are different libraries under different languages of Python, and every library has a different function. So, so for example, we have a library called Seaborn, which is used for data visualization, which I had showed a particular code where data visualization was done. Similarly, there are libraries for different function. For example, NumPy, Pandas. There's a library called Random, which if I use, it will ask me to answer a number, and it will give, I can quickly like show how the library Random works. Or even like there are multiple libraries with different functions. One of the basic functions that Python has, which I was showing, was list, dictionaries, and like again, this was also a language function that we used. Palindrome, it was a language function. So every library is different, and Python as a language, it allows very, it's easy to learn, and it's flexible. That its syntax is not difficult to understand. By syntax I mean the language that we use. So that is simple to use in Python. That's why it's a very good language to start learning data science with.
Thank you.
And in the beginning of the session, you mentioned Kaggle, and you said that there are other things besides Kaggle to do this kind of research. Are you going to explain in the second part? Remember
So
that?
so there are different data sets, websites that are used. So this is the part where I mean, so next session will be on a different topic, and I won't be taking that session. But what I can do, I can share the websites of places where you can find these data sets, and help you
Okay.
work on those data sets, because the next session
Okay.
will be on a different topic.
Okay. Thank you.
I hope it was you were able to learn through the classes that I had, and I was able to help you understand a few concepts. Meanwhile, I'm sharing more links. I'll share it with Melin ma'am while I'm also sharing in the chat. This is a data set on COVID by Tableau, which is a visualization. I can share screen as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, all
These
this
are some of
information, Bakshish, you have been sharing with me more information. I have already sent by email to everyone, and I am also uploading all this information in the Google Drive. Okay, so we can access at any time.
Thank you.
yes.
And in any case, Bakshish, we will be in touch. I mean, I think your contribution has been, and maybe you are too much for us, okay? And we need more time to digest and to go through it. but we will contact you whenever required. You know that you are going to be available, no? For
Yes,
whenever we can need your assistance.
yes, definitely. In case anybody wants to ask a question or has a doubt, should I share my email address in the chat in case anybody wants to
Yes, sure.
ask?
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Yes, I've shared the email address in the chat. This will, in case you have doubts, you can, I'll try to address your doubts as much as I can in my capacity. I'm also a learner along with all the participants here. So I'm also learning, and I would be happy to learn from you as well. I hope the sessions that I took yesterday and today were useful for you, and this hopefully should be as a precursor to your journey in the world of data science. And all the very best in this data science world. Hope to see you all soon.
Thank you, Bakshis.
Thank you.
Yesterday, I read an article
Thank you.
in one of the main newspapers in Spain, that saying that it was a quite good editor. He was saying, I had decided to remove my child from English classes, and I'm going to register him in a data and coding and programming course. Okay, and I think that is what we have learned, that we are maybe like that little child, but we need to learn, because this is, I think, is the only way forward, and maybe we are still very far, but you have please show us the path. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have another 10 minutes because I think Merlin is already almost ready, but another 10 minutes for the break, and then we'll come back. Beatrice?
Yes, we can have a 10 minutes break and come back within 10 minutes. This works for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you.
Maxis.
Thank you.